Greetings, Internet. Welcome to Aaron Plays, and I hope you're doing fantastically well. Well, this is going to be a bit of a ramble about a game that's been hitting my channel a lot lately, which is Fields of Fire. I'm going to go why it is hitting my channel a lot, what I intend to do in the future with the game, and other bits and bobs that will come in along the way. So why Fields of Fire? Why do I keep playing this game? I really like it. I can't think of another way to explain it. I really, really like it. And the decisions it gives me constantly, every moment of the game, I'm having to think of a solution to a problem. The problem might be a tiny one or it might be a big one, but it doesn't matter. It's still a decision I've got to make. So what was my path into this game? Well, I have explained in prior videos that essentially I did have the second printing of the first Fields of Fire and didn't get on with it. I struggled with the rules and sold that. I looked at Fields of Fire 2 when that came out, not bought it, but checked all the videos and the questions on BGG and such forth, and it seemed like a hot mess. I thought, you know what, nah. And it's only by watching Gimpy, so it's another shout out for Gimpy, his video, and then that made me watch also on Tabletop Simulator from the developers, watching them play. I went, ooh, how did I go? Ooh. And yeah, a P500, I think I was one of the last few to P500 it because it was ready to charge. I think I was charged within 2 days. And yeah, about a month later from Second Chance Game, boom, you're right, how did it go? Boom, just like the artillery, unless it's short. But yeah, it was there at my door, and then I opened the box and went, I know I'd seen it, I say on Gimpy, he did an unboxing and such forth, and then watching the guys play it. But when you actually get that physical bits in your hand, I was like, there's a lot here. But I did what was suggested in the books, which was learn it bit by bit by bit. I did the basic training manual. I set up all the little modules. I bought Tabletop Simulator. I didn't have it beforehand. I'd seen it beforehand, and so I say I watched the developers play it. But I bought Tabletop Simulator because I know my space is restricted, and I really liked what it looked like. I mean, I play a lot of games on Vassal. I looked at the Vassal modules, like, yeah, it's all right. But when I saw them playing on Tabletop Simulator, I thought, ooh, and again, ooh. So I bought Tabletop Simulator purely for that. Got that running on there, and I set up each of the training missions from the actual booklet and played them through again, with making my own decisions rather than what was written in the text, as again they advise. And eventually I then got onto the individual mission in the box. What's it called? Keep Up the Fire. Played that again, following the instructions all the way through. Then played it again, but then bringing in communications. Then played it again, bringing in ammunition. Then I thought, yay, I'm ready. I don't think you're ever going to be ready with this game. I think that's just one of the ways it works. You're always learning. So I then thought, right, okay, I'm going to do Normandy. And I thought, one of the best ways of learning a game, as you all probably know, is have someone teach you. I didn't have anyone to teach me at this, so apart from those books, and it felt like I was being taught, which was good. But I thought, let me just bring Normandy. I know there's lots of games out there of people doing Normandy, but it was me doing it. Okay, it was my way of learning, is also speaking to you guys. Now, just as a slight aside about my channel. Okay, so I formed this in 2020. Well, my first video was in 2017, but that was just a one-off. And then about 2021, I thought, yeah, let's go for it. Never thought I'd get a lot of people watching, but the main aim was to get the games off the shelf and played. I'm not a great solo player. I get bored very, very quickly when I'm making decisions and know what the consequences are. Well, especially when, playing a two-handed game single. I get However, I thought, well, if I've got someone to talk to, even if I can't see you guys, I mean, I'm just talking here to a screen going, hello, it's me again. But I know at least a few of you are going to watch. And therefore, I am projecting, darling, to you my thoughts, my processes, my reasoning, and that helps me play solo. And it's allowed me to get the games that were on the shelf off the shelf. Okay, I'm not, again, some of them I played earlier when I did have a table to play. Obviously I play physical. I'm still now playing Battle. I did bring a game to the channel the other day. All right, it was a card game, but at least I brought something on a table to the thing. So hopefully that will change in the not too distant future. I will still bring games onto the Vassal, and still, I did say this was going to be ramblings on Vassal and Tabletop Simulator, because I like that I can save it and it's done. But I also do like to play with the physical bits. That's why when I'm playing this, I have the charts and the tables all next to me, because I like it. You know, we pay good money for these things. I like using the physical bits. But it's hard for me to show the physical bits to you guys on the screen, hence why I bring them up and such forth. But if I'm playing this on my own, physical bits. I actually got the cards already. So if I'm playing, again, on my own, not bringing it to a channel, I play and shuffle the cards and play the cards rather than press a button. But obviously, for a presentation point of view, I need to bring that to you guys. So, yeah. Right, so that was a tangent. Where was I actually going? Yeah, well, I was explaining how I got into the game, why I got into the game, and then why I brought Normandy to the channel. And I thought I would go through in quite detail, especially in the first 2 or 3 episodes, every step I was making. One, because as I'm saying it and doing it, it helps trigger the memory. 2, if any of you guys watch, go, ooh, that's not quite right. And then you can mention it in the comments, and that helps others as well. So that was Normandy, and I did quite a few episodes. I did mission 1 to completion, mission 2 to completion and redo, because I needed a reattempt, and I'm part way through mission 3 at the moment. So I thought, right, what else is there? I know there's 3 or 4 things in the box. So I then was talking to a friend of mine who actually I spoke to and did the first iteration I had of the game. So Fields of Fire, second printing, and we struggled with it. So this is Randy from Texas. So he said, oh, I'd like to, you know, relearn the game and so forth. So I said, well, let's do it together. And we're doing, what do you call it? Hold on, let me get it. Right, so we're doing this one, right, the Korean War, and we're going through it slowly. However, I also picked up Fields of Fire 2, the Marines, off eBay for a reasonable price. I'm hoping they're going to do a redo of it, because as I've mentioned, if you've watched any of those videos, the actual book, which I've got here, sitting right next to me, this one here, I did originally comment that it's dire. Working my way through it, it's better than dire by a smidge. It's difficult to work with. Sorry. Let's lubricate the throat. It's difficult to work with, but it's doable. And again, I thought, right, okay. I haven't seen many games recently of that campaign. I didn't want to do Peleliu, because that's got Amtracs and other vehicles. I haven't done vehicles as yet. I mean, I moved a Jeep around, and that's about it. I haven't brought it into anti-tank fire and so on. That's nothing we'll talk about in a minute. So I thought, you know what? Let's do it. Okay, it's something different. It's the Marine Corps, different platoon. It'll get into my head, and I thought, let's bring that to the channel as well. So that's why there was 2 campaigns. I've done all the way through mission 1. Okay, and mission 2 is defensive. I've never done a defensive mission before. Ooh, everything's been attacking, or maybe a slight counterattack, but this was now something different. I then introduced, thought, you know what? Okay, I've got a few channel members. Let's bring that to my channel members in detail as a synopsis to the rest of you who want to, you know, watch what I do. And yeah, it's like anything on YouTube. You get a lot. I mean, my first video for Normandy's got something like coming on to 740 or so views. The latest one's got about 30. It's just the way it works. But the people at that 30 has been constant, so I know it's probably the same 30 you're watching now. Anywho, but I thought, let me reward the people who want to become channel members, and that's why I made the Korean Marine a channel member only, with a synopsis onto the main channel. And the synopsis has been watched and liked as well. So, I mean, I don't go, obviously, I go into highlights and a little bit of me talking as well. But I was still now playing, so I was playing effectively 3 games. So Normandy on the channel, Korea with Randy, we're working through the first mission on this, and we're still working, we've just completed the first mission on that. And then, as I say, the Korea, Chosen, and so forth. So that was 3. And then when me and Randy were, I wouldn't say struggling, because we were getting through it, but I was enjoying it so far. I thought, how different can they be? You know, they keep saying total replayability and so forth. How different can they be? So I started this campaign as well on my channel with just me again. Just as one, it was mainly to see how different it is. And my goodness, how different it is. I'm playing mission 1. I think I'm on turn 2. I'm probably going to do turn 3 or 4 this weekend. We're talking in mid-July at the present moment. And it is so different. Same forces, same map. Well, actually, no, isn't it? It's a different map because it's the same rules of the map, but it comes up with a different map. And the way the forces come out, and it is so different. The decision trees are all different, and that's what you need in a solo game, and that's fantastic. And that's why I brought that to the channel. I thought, well, okay. Then I was contacted by a friend, someone I haven't gamed with for quite a while, and they wanted to. They'd watched a few of the Field of Fire video. This guy, Brendan Clark, he said, let's have a 2-player game on your channel. And I thought, yeah, that sounds a good idea. And that way, because he hasn't played, he had maybe even the first edition, or first printing of the first edition. But he liked the look of it on Tabletop Simulator. So I said, well, yeah, and let's do something different. So guess what? Yes, there'll be a 4th Field of Fire game brought to my channel. And that will be Heartbreak Ridge. Why did I choose Heartbreak Ridge? Well, I've already got Normandy on the go. I've already got, I keep forgetting what it's called. That's an age thing. Nak Tong River. Already got Chosen, so that's Korea. Now I thought, Vietnam. I'm not ready for helicopters yet. Nowhere near. Heartbreak Ridge is an offensive. It's mountainous terrain. So that's going to be sort of new-ish. And I will be playing with Brendan, the way we're splitting it up. Okay, so he is going to be the company commander. And fortunately, and I suppose narratively, he's green. He wants to call him Captain Cherry, for whatever reason. I'm going to be playing the XO and the Sergeant, which are both veterans. Now, am I a veteran? No, I consider myself a line guy, but they're veterans in the game. I will also command 1st platoon, and he'll command 2nd and 3rd platoon, plus any other additional assets. The artillery will probably assign 1 to each platoon as we get set up, and that will be brought to the channel soon. But it will also be almost like the first videos I was making, where I'll be explaining in detail, because I'll be explaining it to Brendan. So it'll be a learning curve for him, a learning curve for me, because I'll be teaching someone, I wouldn't say face-to-face because we'll be on Discord, but teaching someone as we're playing. And there's going to be mistakes, because I'm not going to micromanage him. I'm going to say, right, you're the company commander. You tell my platoon commander and my XO, you tell me when they're activated. When I do my 1st platoon, yes, I will do what I want to do with 1st platoon. But what he does with 2nd and 3rd platoon, I might advise, but I will not, decision's going to be his. We're going to pause the recordings when we're doing rules checks, but when we reveal, when we need to do, well, start again. When I need to announce what the rule is, I will of course do that, but we will pause. Well, one of the things I hate of watching videos, I love a lot of people out there in the games and when they're showing it, but when you do it, and if any of you are watching it, pause the video when you're checking the rules, because nothing worse than looking at a blank screen and hearing rustlings of papers in the background. Now, I am guilty of doing that myself. Sometimes you get so caught in the moment that you forget the pause button. The other downside of pressing the pause button is sometimes you forget to actually press the re-record. So you could actually play half a turn and then realise you haven't bloody recorded a damn thing. So it swings, roundabouts. But yeah, as I did say, this was going to be rambling. I did actually make a list of what I wanted to chat about. So far we've done an intro, how I learned. Yeah, as I say, the book's in the box. If you get it and you haven't got someone to teach you, go through them. If you have got someone to teach you, go through them anyway, because the more you do, the more you repeat, the better you will get at the game. Now, you're still going to make mistakes. I mean, in the last episode, one of the games, I can't remember which one now, I advanced the whole platoon forward, forgetting that the enemy, bastards, can shift fire. They were firing at one guy, my guy's automatic open fire, and when it came to the German go, we have an option to shift fire. It was when I saw the option to shift fire, I went, oh no. And did they shift fire? Of course they bloody well did. And did some serious damage. Yeah. Again, in my episode I shot, was that the Platoon Patrol? Yeah, Platoon Patrol. My EXO, I had a decision. There was a paralysed guy on the objective hex card, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Do I move him forward to get them off the card because I need to pull the platoon back? And I thought, well, it's night time, there's a field of fire, he might be able to infiltrate. He failed to infiltrate and he got shot, paralysed himself. But those are the decisions that make this game work. So that's why, and that was how I learned. Point 3 was why so many games. Well, I've gone through that. I'm playing different aspects of the game. So any of you that are watching think, oh, let's have a look at Normandy. You can watch Normandy. If you want to have a look at Korea, I've done Korea. And such forth. Now, next thing I wanted to go to is what I want to do going forward. So, I want to learn armour. That's the next biggie. I'm doing night in Korea at the present moment. I'm doing defensive in Korea. But I really want to get into the crunch on tanks. So, what I will do at some point, there's obviously the instruction in the advanced instruction manual. There's a section on armour, and they go through the first 3 turns of a playthrough on it. So I'm going to do that, not on the chat, not live, unless you guys want me to. You know, me talking through as they talk in the book, can do. But then obviously they end their sample, I think it's on turn 2 or turn 3, and then continue from there. I want to continue from there, as it were. But if you want me to do the first bit, you know, going through what they've said in the instruction book, we can do. Because I can give my insights, yay, my insights, my knowledge, my skills in that part as well, and then moving on to the playing through the actual mission, and then I will redo that mission with a completely new setup and see how I get on without any guidance, and that'll be my first foray into armor, because at some point. Okay, I know Normandy, I don't think there's any armour. The Battle of the Bulge, he says, raising his eyebrows. The expansion module, oh yes, there's lots of tanks. So that is what I'm aiming for. When am I aiming for that? Well, what's coming up? Last year, in 2024, all right, yes, that was the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. I played Enemy Action Ardennes. I did a bit too much of a chew on that. I tried to play that solo, using the Americans as me playing and the Germans as the. I chose the hardest option, playing solo as the Americans. Yeah, and whew, went over my head a bit. Since then, I have played the game subsequently, and I've got a handle on that. But so for the 81st, I would like to start Bastogne. Might be only the first mission. I might only complete the first mission, but I at least want to do something to celebrate. So that's what my next step is. So I'm going to complete. Right, so let's go through this. So the Normandy campaign, I've got one more patrol to do for mission 3. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to bring that to the camera. I've asked you guys a question. Do you want me to bring mission 3? Sorry, patrol 3, which will be first platoon. Let me know. Let me know in these comments if you want to. I can do that. That'll be an episode or 2, and then moving on to mission 4, where we fight over the same ground we were before in mission 3, where all the things and terrain that we've discovered, and then the enemy could even, be activated even on the cards we are, because there's no setup zone, whatever they call that area. Staging area, I've got a map right behind what I'm looking at. The staging area, there's no staging area for mission 4. So, and eventually I would like to complete Normandy. Chosen, I would like to keep bringing that to my channel members and synopsises of the turn. There's various different ways I can do that, because I mean, at the end of the day, I want to encourage you guys to become channel members because it helps support me. The reason why I need support, well, Fields of Fire 3 is coming out soon. I've got to pay for that. Now, well, I could pay for that, no problem at all. It would be nice if my YouTube channel could pay for it, and with the videos and such forth, I earn just enough to maybe, rather than go to the partner and say, sorry, I can't take you out this month because, you know, I've got another game to buy. And she'll look at the games sort of sitting on the shelf going, really? That's why I keep going, yeah, they're not cheap, especially over here in the UK. But, you know, if you become channel members, that all helps build up some funds for me to go and get things like this. And recently I got the Stalin's Favourites. That was all funded by you guys, by your watchings and the adverts. What I'm thinking of doing, just as a little side for the channel members, is removing the adverts. Because I can think there's a button I can press, so I'll work that out. I can stop monetization on that, which will stop adverts. So it'll be just you watching the video, because I get irritated by adverts. Popping in halfway through the video, you explain, I move this piece cunningly here, and buy this deluxe, da-da-da-da. Yeah, whatever. So going forwards, that's the next step, is armor. Once I've cracked armor and Bastogne, then Vietnam. Right, so going back to the Chosen, I'll want to complete the campaign. By the time I've completed that, I'll have completed Normandy. By the time, and with those two completed, I would like to bring from Fields of Fire 2, Peleliu. Okay, so Peleliu and Normandy, Bastogne, Battle of the Bulge. Those are the next two going for after I've finished everything I've done now here. So this one, Inchon, Inkong, Napton. Why this won't go in? That one I'm going to keep going as well, but that we maybe certainly on the back burner. When I'll do lots of videos on the other ones, and then I'll do a video on that when I feel like I can change. What's going to happen with Brendan? We're just going to see how it's A, received by you guys, B, how he feels. You know, he might play 3 or 4 turns and go, you know what, this game's not for me. I don't know. What he's seen of it so far, he seems quite excited. He's done a little bit of reading of the rules and such also, but everything strikes us differently, doesn't it? So if he doesn't get on with it, then that will fade down and be completed at some later point by myself. And eventually, Vietnam. And by the time I've done all that, hopefully, in my greasy little mitts, I'll have Fields of Fire 3, Parachute Regiment. So that's going forwards. I wanted to do also an ASL comparison. Yeah, I know, ASL. Ooh. I used to be an avid ASL player. I think in 2014 was my high watermark, shall we say. I played nearly 200 scenarios in that year. But it broke me. I really haven't touched the game since. I might have done 3 scenarios, maybe 4 since then. And why did it break me? Well, the bloody rules. Okay, so I'm now going to do, this is where I'm going to do my rules comparison. Everything in Fields of Fire makes sense. I have not come across a rule there where I've gone, that's a load of bollocks. That doesn't really work. Yes, there's a bit of times when you can be a bit gamey with your timings, when you can advance onto this a card which has got artillery, or you fire a marker on it and you know it's not coming back because you fired that artillery, or even the enemy fired that artillery and you know they're out of fire missions. But you've always got that bit of chance that, well, a random event could occur. You know, the enemy HQ could get them to fire again. So there's always that little bit of doubt. But yes, you can play the system a little bit. But rules-wise, everything gels. Everything works. ASL is broken. If there's any of you out there who play ASL and are now screaming at the screen, come on, guys, it's broken. Okay? Back in when it was squad leader and then moved into ASL, It was the creme de la creme. Okay, there was nothing else like it. That rule book when it came out was so detailed, color, folded in that 3-lever art file, fantastic. There were some systems in there even back then. You thought, well, I mean, skulking. What's that about? Come on. Vehicle bypass freeze. Now, if I'm talking to people here who've never played ASL, these are contentious rules that just, to me, they stop the game looking realistic. They break that verisimilitude where you're sitting there thinking, this is, how good as it can be. Fields of fire, communication. I can't activate a guy unless I can either visually talk to him, or I've got a radio contact or a phone contact. ASL, I've got a guy 5, 10, 15 hexes away, he'll move exactly where I want him to. Why? Okay, he breaks, he rallies, and he comes trundling back to the front. Here, fields of fire, guy breaks, falls back. I have to go and tell him to go and do something. Either I've got to get one of my officers down there to him, or I do get an initiative impulse, and he might do that. But initiative impulses, how often they occur? They occur when you don't really need them. They don't occur when you do really need them. So now this was meant to be rambling. That's a slight rant now, isn't it? Look, I played ASL for a long time. I really did enjoy it. Okay, but getting new players into it, I mean, that rule book is dense. Now, the rule book for Fields of Fire is dense as well. Don't get me wrong. It's less than ASL, but it is dense. But as I said, everything makes sense in it. Everything I've encountered so far, I've still got tanks to do. I've still got Vietnam to do. Still got to do urban fighting. So I've still got a lot to crack, but everything so far makes sense. And I do like the way I can program instruction the way I want to go through it. ASL, well, because of some of those rules that I think need to be replaced, like there needs to be a command and control rule. They need to work out a way to break down that link in skulking, because it just looked absolutely rubbish. If you don't know what skulking is, effectively the way the sequence of play works, when your opponent is about to do their defensive fire, you can move it. Well, you step everything back away from the front of the building, for example. He can't see you, so that he can't fire you. And then in the advanced phase, you move forward again. So it just minimises the amount of fire that you're taking. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. And as I say, there are many other things. Why there is no command control in ASL? In the effect that everyone can do what you want them to do. You've got leaders counters on there, which means you then stack multi-stacks, which again is ludicrous. That was cured with Band of Brothers. I think Band of Brothers, way they represent it, that you need to keep your units dispersed is great. The way it's represented in here is great. You could have the whole platoon firing and with the machine gun, and you only get the volume of fire of the machine gun. In ASL, you'll get every single squad, because it's providing 4 firepower, Germans, with a machine gun, with a heavy machine, you get these killer stacks, which just wipe everything out with a 9-2 leader. It's broken. So it needs a command and control system. Why won't they introduce it? They introduced the last module I bought for ASL was Festung Budapest. It looked fantastic. Don't get me wrong, ASL is gorgeous for its maps and such forth. The counters are a bit bland, but that's fine. Got no problem with bland counters. But the maps, Festung Budapest, were absolutely stunning. But then when I tried to play it, when you've actually got a whole card of scenario special rules just to run a scenario, and then when you read the Festung Budapest rules themselves, and they've got 7 pages on embankment rules, just embankments, yet they haven't got anything for command and control. That's where it just breaks the system. There was a moment of light with ASL when they introduced SASL, Solitaire ASL, and that does have a command and control system, and it works. Now, there's still issues with skulking and such forth, but the SASL module is probably the closest that ASL has got to being realistic. Now, I say realistic, none of these games are realistic. You're not sitting there with mud splattering in your face and machine guns shooting around and such forth. But as close as us armchair generals can get, Sassel was the closest ASL got to it, and obviously this is the closest I've felt from any game, Fields of Fire itself. So that's my ramblings, why I changed from ASL to Band of Brothers, and then from Band of Brothers I'm now here. I mean, I am playing, you know, if you're watching my channel at all, I am still playing Band of Brothers, love it. This game's getting more screen time because I'm loving this more, basically. And that's really the sort of end of my ramblings. So let me know in the comments what you think. Am I doing too much? Am I bringing too much of Fields of Fire to the channel? Because I can play this off screen, not a problem. But as I said, I like playing these solo games with you guys because it encourages me to play them. That's why I did the thing and save the channel in the first place. With the new one I want to do, Heartbreak Ridge, I'm going to be playing with Brendan, learning the game with him, and he'll be learning the game, and also then projecting it to you guys. It's all for discourse, discussion. Let's just work together on it. I think that's it. I don't think I have much more to tell. Yeah, gone through that. Yeah, gone for. Yeah, it's all been done. Everything that was in my little checklist. So, yeah, let me know, as I say in the comments, what you think. Am I doing too much of this? I don't know. I'm just loving it. I mean, as soon as I finish doing this and uploading it, because this is going to be, I mean, I've just been sat here chatting. I haven't even paused. I mean, I even just sipped a cup of coffee. Yeah, I'm just rambling here. I've got a choice. I'm not sure which one I want to do. I thought, well, okay, I'm going to do it again. Nangtong. Nangtong turn 3 to do. And I've got Chosen turn 4 to do. And the patrol for Normandy to do. The third patrol. I'm not sure if I need to do the third patrol. That's why I've asked on that last video of that, if you could answer it there. If you want me to do the third patrol, I can. If you think, nah, let's move on to mission 4, then I will do. But I'll wait a bit of time for that. So I think it's going to be one of the 2 Korean ones I'll be doing. And later on today, that's when me and Brendan will start the chat. When that'll be actually brought to the channel, I don't exactly know. When it's got a slot. Because as I say, I've still got Band of Brothers I want to do. 6th Fleet I want to do, because I'm still playing those at the present moment. I did a, what do you call it? A post where I'm going to be bringing this to the channel, D-Day at Peleliu. And the reason why I want to do this is because it's the anniversary, 81st anniversary. I want to do at least one playthrough of that. And then, after I've done that, I can then think about Peleliu from Fields of Fire. It gives me that historical context. So, I think I'm out of steam now. Whew. Thank you for watching. Play games and have fun and all that lot. That's what I'm here for. That's why I like talking to you. As I say, all comments are answered. If you could like the video, great. Subscribe if you haven't done so already and you decide you think this guy nutter who rambles on. Actually, yeah, I might like to listen to his videos a bit more and hit that notification bell. I've mentioned membership. It's all down the channel below. And if you would like to support the channel without becoming a member, there's obviously a super thanks. That's the homework done, the blab done. It's all down to you guys. I'm here because you guys are watching. If no one was watching, I wouldn't be doing it. I'd be just still playing the games on my own. It's sad little me. Play games. Have fun. Bye, internet. And now I've got to find the off key. This is the thing that slows me down because I've got to press a button. I can never find. Ah, there it is.